Hello everybody, it's George here again today. We're with another video. Today we're going to be looking at IbrahimCissoko's performance versus Barnsley, as it was his debut, and he excited me quite a bit. I thought I'd make a standalone video on him. If we make any other signings and they make debuts that are quite as impressive, they'll be getting standalone videos as well. It's a little bit of a different one, this, to the other videos, looking mainly at one player. We are going to look at um, the shapes we set up in to create the space we got for him. But it was a really impressive performance overall. Starting off straight away, he's been on very, very little time, and he chases his man back, wins the foul, not wins the foul, sorry, wins the tackle. Just showed that grit straight away, because I think that's one of the big question marks around Cissoko, from what I've read about him anyway, is a lot of people seem to be saying he's a very glamorous player. He's a very good player going forward. If you can have that defensive structure behind him, he's very good. So one of my biggest worries would have been about his work rate. I think he showed straight away that's not going to be too much of a problem. I don't expect Schumacher to expect any less from him. If he can be working hard in this team, this is going to be a very, very, very good signing, in my opinion. Another one of the things I really want to focus on today was Conway's positioning and Ereham when he comes on. This would have been because of the 10 men a little bit, but I expect to see this a lot more. I said this in the video analysing the Sheffield Wednesday game where Pogba gets his right-footed ball in. You saw Cissoko put a number of right-footed balls in as well as left-footed balls, but having your left back in this position gives him that space to go 1v1, and it happened a lot where we really, really tried to isolate Cissoko. He was almost at a main attacking threat, and considering he's not been here that long, it was very impressive. And then this here is where he's put back onto his right foot. He's ended up getting the ball in. I don't think a lot comes from this, but Conway is in the middle again. He's got into that box, so he's come from here. He's made that run, and the reason I wanted to highlight this is because if this is Richard Taylor on the end of Sissoko's crosses, or even when it's on the other side, if Cissoko being out here tracks enough men that it can mean Richard Taylor can be bursting into that box, I think that offers a new attacking dimension completely, where you're going to have Dolby in the box, you're going to have Burstow in the box. I know he's out here in this situation, but that's actually because of the amount of space Cissoko creates when he's out here. It ends up with a big gap between the fullbacks. So don't be surprised to see a ball's getting played in between the right back, and the centre back when Sissoko's out on this left-hand side, because he causes a lot of tactical problems, mainly because of how two-footed he is, and we really did see this in this game. But if this is Richard Taylor, I think this causes an awful lot more problems for the opposition. So that's something to keep an eye out on in the next few weeks, hopefully. So I just wanted to highlight Cissoko here in this position. This is in the build-up to it. He ends up getting a cross into the box, and Morley ends up hitting the ball over the bar. But I just wanted to talk about the way he goes in to out here, and the way he interchanges. So as you can see, he finds himself in a pocket of space here. The ball's never coming to him. Sheen's facing the opposite way. We end up recycling it. But I just wanted to note his starting position in here. You can see here, the game's moved on by about 8 or 9 seconds. Sissoko's still in this sort of inside pocket area. Conway's a little bit further outside in this time, and Amario's over here. But what they end up doing here is very, very smartly. Cissoko moves backwards, Conway comes in. And it means that these two can't really follow him, because if he follows Cissoko out, it creates the space at the back post. And if he now follows Cissoko out, you leave Conway on the edge of the box, which he can't really do. So it was really, really impressive interplay. Again, it's with the pinch of salt that Barnsley were playing with 10 men. Maybe these movements don't work quite as well against 11 men. But I think it's definitely something we're going to see to create Cissoko that space, because you could see the 1v1 ability he had. And obviously you want to get him in them positions as much as possible. And I think this is a way to sort of do that. It's moved on a little bit now, and Conway is again making that run into the box. He's around that area. You've ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4 in the box, which means they trust his ability. They trust him that he's going to be getting that ball in the box. And he ends up wide with a lot of space to move into here, which he takes. He takes that space. He goes onto his left foot, having put a couple of right-footed crosses in now. He takes the defender the other way. This guy must be a nightmare to defend against. And he ends up getting the ball, and I'm going to run that clip now.
The volley, first time, probably a yard over the bar. Playing the volley, first time.
So you could see in that one, he got the ball in, a lovely step over. His ability on the ball is very, very good. But that ability with both feet is what really gives the defender the problem there. Um, Again, I want to focus here. Sheehan, if you look, he's pointing. He's pointing out there, which again shows how much the players rate him already. The players are trying to create the space for Sissoko already, which it says a lot when the players really buy into that for such a new player. And again, it helps that they're down to 10 men. You want your most creative players on the ball when they're down to 10 men. Um, Especially when you've got a Mario on as well, who just take the players away because you have to look after him. It really did cause them problems. Again, Conway, look at the positioning he's in here. He's so high up the pitch. And again, if you get Richard Taylor in there, them direct balls, especially when teams are down to 10 men or they're sitting in that low block, that's an option that you can see to get that extra forward player in there instead of maybe moving a centre half up later in games when you chase him. But Morley ends up playing the ball over. I just wanted to highlight how Sheehan's fighting. And look at how right side heavy we are on the pitch because we're trying to drag them over here. We want them over on this right hand side to give Cissoko as much space as humanly possible. We ended up getting the ball into the box, I think, from the right hand side, and Sissoko's gone into the box. He's won his header. It was a pretty poor header, but it shows that he has got that box breaking ability. He's not just a winger that is just going to stay out here. He's not one dimensional. He is going to go and get in the box, which again gives defenders a little bit more of a problem, and maybe we'll see some goals from him at that back post position. I mentioned this before with the number of players that were getting into the box with the last cross, the last time he got the ball, expecting a cross. And again, you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, all trying to make that run to get into the area. You'll see certain players pick a ball up, and players won't do that. Even if you're 1-0 down in the 76th minute, players won't do that because they don't expect them to cross that ball. They think they're going to come in, they're going to try and shoot, they're going to take the time doing it. It shows that they know what Sissoko's there to do. He's there to get the ball, maybe try and beat his man. If not try and beat his man, get the ball in the box as quick as we can. And he's got the ability to do it. He is a better crosser than what we have. And he's a different winger to what we have. Mario crossed the ball for Burstow's goal against Plymouth, and it was a very, very good cross. We've not really seen Thierry put a good cross in yet, but we've seen them both shooting. We've seen them both coming inside onto that foot to shoot. Whereas what you're seeing with Cissoko is the ability to go both ways, the ability to put a ball into a box. And I think having that dynamism out wide in what players you're playing there, like imagine you're a fullback and you're coming up against Thierry Gale for 70 minutes, you take him off and Cissoko comes on, or vice versa. It causes teams a lot of problems. And the fact that the players on our team are believing in it enough already to burst their lungs to get into the box when this man gets the ball, I think that's only a positive sign.
Goes one way, then the other. Still Cissoko has it. Can he deliver a cross? He does, right-footed, a header, and it's.
You can see from that little clip just shown then, Cissoko he's very, very tricky. I think he went one way and then the other a little bit too much there, and that's why the cross doesn't have the pace you'd quite expect on it. But you're making your debut, you're trying to impress. And again, Conway winning the header in that box. Now, this is a still image, is very strange when you're doing a analysis on a player, because the player I'm doing the analysis on is not on the pitch. But I promise you, he's out here somewhere. And it creates this shape of almost a 3. You've got your 2 centre-backs back here, you've got your 3 and 5. It's 2-3-5 almost. And again, them playing with 10 men allows us to do it, and it allows the space to do that. But I wouldn't be surprised to see this a little bit more when we're playing teams in that deeper block area and dropping in to make that midfield 3. Because it causes defences problems. You can see the amount of space over here. If we can find one of the midfielders and it gets across, you're getting a ball in. If we can get it out here, you're getting a ball in. If Burstow can turn and get a little flick through, Mac has split the defence. So it creates a lot of space for you to make them line-breaking runs, for you to get in behind defences, having a shape as aggressive as this, and having someone that stays as wide as a winger, as Cissoko was doing. I think we lose the ball here, but Cissoko wins it back and ends up getting a cross in, I believe. Actually does end up winning the ball back and getting a cross in, and it's Mario over here that ends up coming and getting the shot off at the back post. It was a very, very good ball in, actually. It could have been, well, it was a very good chance. I think it got cleared off the line.
Keeler Dunn's giving it away to Cissoko. He peels away from the Barnsley man. Goes on the outside of Phillips. He's still going. He crosses it over. And a chance here. Oh!
you can see by that clip, very, very tricky player. Got a good ball in on him as well. I just wanted to highlight this again because we were very right heavy, and I don't think that was just for Cissoko. Don't get me wrong; these players here in Mario, Jordi, and Morley have more than enough ability to cause these problems. Maybe Morley gets the ball in, Mario can cut in and shoot. He can also get a ball in. Jordi can drive it. His man create the space. He can also put a ball in. But by being this right heavy and having Erraghan in this midfield to make the midfield three, actually I think Sheehan's. Is that Sheehan up there? And that's Erraghan's sort of sat in front of the two centre backs actually looking at it again. But having him there instead of out here allows you to go and really put players on this side and then be able to switch across very easily. Which you can definitely see here. I mean, look at the contrast between the picture we've just seen and now. And it's not much difference in the time. It was straight away played across. We end up recycling and going back to Johnson and going across here. But it just highlights that Cissoko is going to be that player we really try to isolate on his own, again, because of the double-footedness. Here we end up, as I say, recycling. But again, that's a good sign to me. I don't want my winger to go and try and beat his man every time he gets the ball because you're going to lose it an awful lot. Knowing when to go and beat your man and when to retain possession is a very key factor for wingers that I think a lot of people overlook. Because it's exciting to see your winger run at a man. But in terms of the way football's played, not the greatest thing to do every single time. So again, it just showed good footballing IQ that that he recycled the ball here. Good football IQ. I was really, really impressed with this little bit of movement here. So you can see where Erraghan is, and Cissoko picks the ball up. He ends up laying it off down here. But if you look at where these two players are, moves wide straight away once he's played this ball. And Erraghan then is allowed this space here to get a ball in. And he does get a very good ball in, actually. Not a space he's afforded here. Mainly because Cissoko makes the right movement to drag the players away to give him that space. Again, if that's Conway there, that's a bit more of a problem. But it weren't a bad ball in by Erraghan at all, and I did think he did quite a good job covering in that left-back role.
Cissoko. Oh, what a bit of skill that is. Cissoko. Oh, what a bit of skill that.
What a lovely bit of skill that was. I think he's going to get us on the edge of our seats a few times this year. Aerial duels won here, 2 out of 3. Shows he puts himself about as well. There's a little bit of height to him, and he doesn't look like he's going to be pushed about easily either. 2 out of 3 successful dribbles, 2 out of 5 accurate crosses. Again, the fact he put in 5 crosses in what was it? He played 28 minutes. 6 out of 6 accurate passes. He touched in opposition box 2. You can see with the 22 touches in 28 minutes, that's ridiculously high. So you can see that we was really trying to push the ball out to him. I think overall it was a very, very impressive debut, and he really does add a new dimension to them wing options we have. And I think it can only be a positive. If he stays fit, can stay consistent, which is the key thing with all of our wingers this year. If we can get a bit of consistency out of Ibrahim Cissoko at this level, I think we're onto something really, really special. I really hope you enjoyed this video, guys. It was a bit of a different one. I really, really enjoyed making it. As always, any likes, shares, or comments or anything like that is much appreciated. Any constructive criticism is much appreciated too. As I say, I hope you enjoyed and have a good day. I'll catch you later.